All right, we're replacing the skid plates today. Here's what I'm replacing: the paper thin skid plate from Toyota. It dents incredibly easy. And then we got ourselves 1/4-inch aluminum skid plates. Clean it with some brake parts cleaner. Get the drain pan nice and clean. I mean, you can see there's a little bit of a mark from all the different gaskets I've had on it. But you just want to make sure the bottom of this is just going to be really clean for our permanent Fumoto valve here. So just clean it up, make sure everything's good to go. And then we've got our Fumoto valve. Get that last bit of oil that's coming out. And then we're just going to start threading it in. Once it reaches the top, I'm going to torque it to 15 foot-pounds. There's 15 foot-pounds. You can also see it's still in the draining mode because there's a little bit of oil coming out of it. So we're going to go ahead and bring the switch back up into its lock position. So up and back is locked. Then it comes with this really nice locking tool here. So if you notice, this locking tool's got this spot that is has two different parts to it, and then the other side is just one single part. So you're going to go ahead and straddle this right side here and go over the little adapter, and then it's just a little safety feature. It's going to lock it in place, worst case scenario if it were to somehow hit and come down. But we're going to have a skid plate here, and the skid plate is going to be way lower than the actual Fumoto valve, so it shouldn't even be a problem. But it's just a nice second emergency protector there. So now we got that installed and it's closed. We got our oil filter replaced. We can fill it up with oil and put the new skid plate on. Now that we got the skid plate off, we're going to go ahead and get our 17mm socket and break off these OEM crossbars here. This is basically what's doing most of the support for the OEM skid plate. So now we got the OEM just crossbars right here off with the M18 socket. I'm gonna go ahead and get the skid plate and line up the front with this edge right here. And we're gonna use the original M18 bolts here and then thread them back in. And then we're gonna have it just sagging down, and then we can catch the rear as well, and we'll get started.
So time to put the skid plate on. Actually, I would end up doing the passenger side bolt first. Lesson learned there, there's two nuts over on the driver's side, so if you put the passenger one in first, it'll line up perfectly. But lesson learned there, now you don't have to make that mistake. And then here you just want your bolt washer and then the spacer, and then you thread it into the factory bolt up top. Just thread it in loosely, especially if you're going to put in another skid plate like the transmission skid plate. You just want it loose, and then also it'll give you some room, so once you put the other side, for me the passenger side, in, you've got some room to put that bushing in there, and then you can thread it in. Once you got the front two and back two bolts installed, get yourself the factory hardware and thread it up with a long socket. You got to make sure the hole's lined up, so as you can see here, and kind of knocking it into place, and then finally the bolt goes up into the factory threads, and I can thread it right in. Do the driver's side one as well. So you've got 6 bolts, 2 in the front, 2 in the center, and then 1 in the back. Go ahead and get everything nice and tight, just evenly, just like you'd put on a tire, just kind of slowly start getting everything nice and tight so it fits evenly onto the frame. And there you go, you got yourself a nice skid plate on there. Feel free to watch my other videos. I will also have the transmission skid plate with the catalytic converter protectors, and then also the transfer case skid plate install as well. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, comment, and we'll see you on the next one.